The girlfriend stood up at the funeral and thanked the widow for sharing her husband. This was at a memorial service in Soweto, inside a packed community hall where people were already emotional and the tea station was working overtime. The widow was sitting in front, wearing black and holding a tissue. The program director asked if anyone wanted to say a few words. That is when a young woman in a navy dress walked to the microphone. She said, "I also knew him as my partner." The hall froze. The widow looked up slowly. One auntie whispered, "Not at the funeral, please." The woman said the man had promised to leave his wife after December. She said he had even paid lobola negotiations for her family. People gasped so loudly the speakers gave feedback. We all thought the young woman was the secret girlfriend. The widow stood up and said, "Finish your speech." That was scarier than shouting. The woman opened her handbag and took out a small framed photo. It showed her and the dead man at a restaurant. Then the man's brother jumped up and said, "Sit down, you are embarrassing the family." The woman pointed at him and said, "You knew." Now everyone turned to the brother. He started sweating like the hall had no roof. Even the pastor closed his Bible halfway, because this was no longer normal condolences. Then someone near the back door started clapping slowly. Everyone turned. It was an older woman in a church uniform, holding a folder against her chest. Here is what nobody saw coming. She was the widow's aunt, and she had invited the young woman. The widow had found messages on the dead man's phone the night before the funeral. But the second twist was worse. The young woman was not his girlfriend. She was the girlfriend's sister. The real girlfriend was too scared to come because she was pregnant. The widow's aunt opened the folder. Inside were receipts for rent, groceries, and a car deposit paid from the widow's business account. The brother had been helping the dead man hide everything. People started looking at the brother like he was the second program item. The widow looked at him and said, "After the burial, you are returning my car." The program director closed the microphone and said, "Tea will wait." And that is how a memorial service became an estate meeting with scones.